Welcome to the 32nd annual convocation of TAPMI Management Institute. My name is Rajiv Shah and I am a faculty member at TAPMI. And I will be with you throughout this event. This solemn occasion is held to acknowledge and respect the absolute commitment and rigorous study at TAPMI by the batch that is passing out today. The batch of 2016-18 comprises of passing batch comprises of 432 students, 21 students of BKFS and 13 students from healthcare management. The procession comprising the chief guest, the governing council members of TAPMI and the faculty are arriving. I request all of you to please rise. Leading the procession is the Vice President of the Student Executive Council, Mrs. Radha of 2017-19 batch, followed by the faculty members of TAPMI, and followed by the distinguished members of TAPMI's Governing Council and members of the TAPMI Trust. Ladies and gentlemen, the distinguished chief guest of the day is Mr. Bhaskar Bhat, Managing Director, Titan Company Limited. May I introduce the dignitaries on the dais. We have Mr. Bhaskar Bhat, Managing Director of Titan Company Limited. We have Dr. H.S. Palal, Pro-Chancellor Mahe, Member of TAPMI's Governing Council and the TAPMI Trust. We have Dr. H. Shantaram, Member of TAPMI's Governing Council and TAPMI Trust. We have Dr. P.D. Shenoy, Member of TAPMI's Governing Council and TAPMI Trust. Dr. D.A. Prasanna, Member of TAPMI Governing Council and TAPMI Trust. And Shri Ramesh Adige, Member of the Governing Council of TAPMI. So, this being an auspicious occasion, I request Ms. Uma Shankari to kindly render the invocation. I request all of you to please rise for the same.
Prathamam vakratundam cha Ekadantam dviteyakam triteyam Krishna Pingaksham Gajavaktram Chaturthakam Lambodaram Panchamancha Shashtham Vikatamevacha Saptamo Vignarajendram Dhumravarnam Tatastamam Navamam Balachandram Cha Dashamantu Vinayakam एकादशं गणपतिं द्वादशं तु गजाननं द्वादशैतानि नामानि त्रिसञ्चयस्फुटे नरः न च विघ्नभयं तस्य सर्वसिद्धिकरं प्रभो प्रभो
Thank you, Ms. Uma Shankari, for that beautiful beginning to this event. I now request Dr. H.S. Palal, Pro-Chancellor of Mahe and member of the TAPMI Governing Council and Trust, to declare the convocation open.
I, Dr. H.S. Ballal, member of the TAPMI Trust, hereby declare the 2018 convocation of TAPMI Management Institute open.
Thank you, sir. I request Ms. Smriti to welcome our distinguished chief guest, Mr. Bhaskar Bhat. I request Ms. Gomti to extend a welcome to Dr. H.S. Palal. I now request Dr. Madhu V. Raghavan, Director TAPMI, to welcome the gathering and present the report of events and achievements at TAPMI during the academic year 2017-18. Dr. Madhu.
Distinguished Chief Guest, Shri Bhaskar Bhat, Managing Director, Titan Company Limited and TAPMI GC member, respected President of the TAPMI Trust and Chancellor of Manipal University, Dr. Ramdas Pai, respected members of TAPMI Trust and Governing Council, special invitees and dignitaries, respected parents and guardians of the graduating students, faculty and staff colleagues, heads of sister institutions of Manipal University, members of the media, graduating students of TAPMI, and the students of the junior batch who are actually here helping us as volunteers. I take great pleasure in welcoming you all to the 32nd graduation ceremony of the students of TAPMI Manipal. Congratulations, batch. In the last 2 years, you must have read hundreds of cases, taken a number of exams, made over 100 plus PowerPoint presentations, and probably formed friendships for a lifetime. You have rightfully earned the opportunity to celebrate this magnificent occasion. You now join a superb group, the alumni of TAPMI, or 5,500 strong alumni, supremely talented, and many of them are in influential positions too. We have prepared you well for the leadership roles, and you have a number of choices to make. In my view, the next 3 to 5 years are critical, as you will engage in self-discovery, and I'm sure you'll find a path that most challenges your mind. You'll have to climb steep mountains, but I'm sure you'll be able to scale it successfully. You'll be used to challenges that you'll probably want more of it. Some of you may remember that a number of occasions I've repeatedly mentioned, and this is in public domain, that we are not in the business of producing yet another management graduate. We are here to prepare industry-relevant graduates who will take up leadership roles in corporate India in a short span of time. It's truly a great privilege for me to welcome Shri Bhaskar Bhat, Managing Director, Titan Company Limited and TAPMI GC member. We're also pleased to have with us the esteemed members of TAPMI Trust and Governing Council. Sir, we welcome you all. It is a realization of the aspirations and sacrifices of the parents and guardians that have brought you to the front rows here today. We welcome every single parent and guardian of our graduating students. Students, you're here because of their love, support, and faith in you, and of course, the countless sacrifices they have made in giving you a great career. I request everyone to welcome the parents and guardians of the graduating batch with a great round of applause. I also take the opportunity to welcome the faculty members of TAPMI who are shaping your minds in various facets of management skills. I'm immensely happy to welcome the heads of sister institutions in Manipal, staff members of the press and dignitaries who have come here to share the joy of a graduating class. And of course, we celebrate the graduation of 466 plus students. My dear students, this is a momentous day for you. Chasing and achieving your dreams requires passion, tremendous effort, and commitment. You have crossed a major milestone in your life, and the road ahead will be exciting, but also it'll be challenging. And with that, you'll have successes. We congratulate you and extend the best wishes to you and look forward to your meaningful contribution towards the progress in building this great country. Walt Disney had once said, all our dreams can come true if you have the courage to pursue them. In closing, I would say to you, aim high, follow your heart, be ethical, inspire others, and remember that all we have is a reputation. Never do anything that will damage your reputation and that of this wonderful institution. This is your day. A hearty welcome to each and every one of you. We're truly proud of you, and you will be in our hearts forever. I also welcome Mrs. Vasanti Pai to the gathering. Thank you, Madam. So I'm very pleased to present the director's report for 17-18. This is also my first convocation as a director, so I'm equally excited, probably more excited than you are. So I'll quickly start with the admissions for 2018. We had 6,017 applicants, 3,575 shortlisted. We're going to take 360 in PGDM, 50 in BKFS, 30 to 30, but maybe 40 HR. That's the targeted sort of numbers for this year. In terms of research and publication, peer-reviewed journals, we have 22 A-star and A peer-reviewed journals in the last 3 years. We have 26 B category peer-reviewed journals in total, and we have around 17 C peer-reviewed journals in total, C-reviewed. And we also have other PRJs published in 17, and comes to 24 other PRJs in total. In terms of teaching cases, as you can see, we have 19 cases published in total. Book chapters, we have 12 book chapters in total for the last 3 years, and we have a number of other publications published by our faculty. So 24 other publications the last 3 years. I just want to give you a quick summary, and this is probably, I don't know how many of you can see from there, but these are publications in the last 3 years in the top journals, A-star and A-level journals, and TAPMI is ranked number 6 in the country. It's a great pleasure to announce this. We have looked at the top 25 B schools in the country, and these are the outputs of the top 25 schools, and you'll find your school just below IIM Indore. So the top schools are IIM A, IIM B, ISB Hyderabad, IIM Lucknow, Indore, and then TAPMI, and we've left many of the other schools far behind. So we should really take some pride in this. Awards and achievements. I want to list out a couple of awards. Vishal Tyagi, Jane Joseph Thomas Dominic from PGP1, and the faculty mentors Ganesh Pandey for 3rd prize in FIB case writing competition. Then Ganesh Pandey's course in modeling with spreadsheets won the gold medal in AIMSB School Innovation Award. Sina Bij was a discussant at the 9th National Conference on Health Professions Education in Assam. In terms of research, I'm not sure whether you can see it from there, from where you are, but very quickly I want to talk to you about how we are enabling research culture at TAPMI. So we have a very clearly articulated professional development fund, which are amended rules. We review faculty every 6 months. The Dean of RPC is actually on the review team. We have a very clearly articulated research ethics policy. We have recently revised the comprehensive performance management system points for both A-star and A publications. Then we have limit on teaching hours, so 1 teaching free term for faculty. We have a policy on avoidance of predatory journals. We have launched a TAPMI academic research grant, and also, of course, the research ethics committee, as I spoke to you earlier. In terms of MIP, how does it look? 152 companies, 397 offers, 31 are outsourced, so 100% placed, and the average stipend is 19,093 per month. And then the highest stipend is 75,000 per month. That's really wonderful news for your school. Here's a quick sector-wise comparison for PGDM. So 34% in the IT/ITES, 20% in BFSI sector, then the e-commerce and FMCG, telecom, media, manufacturing, education, NGO, government, pharma, healthcare is 2%, and others 7%. Sort of sector-wise comparison of the MIP. In terms of PGDM healthcare, we have 17% in consulting, 17% in IT/ITES, manufacturing energy is also 17%, pharma healthcare is also 17%, 16% in the BFSI vertical, and 8% in media, entertainment, and advertisement. 8% in e-commerce. So who are the key recruiters? The recruiters are in Deloitte, you can see, GEP, IBM, JP Morgan, Capgemini, Cargill, I mean, just to name a few. These are key recruiters for this year, and these are wonderful companies. In DE Shaw, for example, Google, I mean, these are amazing companies, and we're delighted that these companies come to TAPMI to pick some of the best students of TAPMI. Placements 2018, I would like to join, or in fact, I'd like to request you to congratulate both Happy and Gurdat Naik for 100% in MIP and 100% placement. 143 companies, 468, I think the largest batch size we have placed, 468. 14 students opted out, so 454 for placed, just 100% placement again in TAPMI. The average salary is 10.6 lakhs per annum. The highest domestic package is 19.4 lakhs, and the highest international package is 23.04 lakhs per annum. So that is excellent news, and I'm sure we'll only do better this year. So very quickly, sector comparison, 42% in BFSI, 35% in IT e-commerce, consulting has 9%, then core industry 6%, and FMCG retail 5%, and others sort of 3%. In PGDM recruiters, again, we have ARC Skills, was that international offer I spoke to you about, Microsoft, Amazon, Deloitte, HDFC Bank, Citi, I mean the top companies you can think of. I mean, the Ernst & Young, just about the companies that you want to work for is on this list, HSBC. So we're delighted that corporate recruiters have great amount of faith and support that they give to us each year. In BKFS, which is the BKFS program, we have HDFC, Deloitte, HSBC, Ernst & Young, Citi, SBI, KPMG. So again, very leading recruiters have come and picked up our BKFS graduates. You know, we've launched the HR program, so I'm quite confident that some of the top companies will also come and pick our HR students fairly soon. I have a slide on excellence and empowerment. I don't know how many of you know this. I'm not sure the parents who are here are aware that there is a director's commendation that happens for top students, PGP1, PGP2 at the end of each term. Then we have scholarships. Trust has been extremely kind towards scholarships for meritorious students. We also have the Dean's Honor Roll, which will be given out today by Professor Balal. We'll be giving out the Dean's Honor Roll. The top 10 students from PGP2 will be given Dean's Honor Roll starting this year. So our commitment to celebrating excellence absolutely is clear. SEC, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Philip Franklin and his team for a great sort of work that they've done this year in really advocating student issues and having a voice, and that was very important, and that is very important. We continue to believe in that. So empowering the student community. The SEC president and vice president from this year, Ipshit and Radha will serve on the SPG with us. Christina Jacobs serves on the Gender Harassment Profession Committee. We are now going to, as part of the TAPMI sort of life, we'll have a cooperative store that will take shape soon. You know, we already have a gym facility in KKPI block, temporary, until the state-of-the-art gymnasium gets constructed. Coffee and snacks for students at KKPI block. You don't have to go all the way to the mess. So we've sort of set some things in place. In terms of alumni relations, I want to highlight some interesting things. For example, the TAPMI Strategy Workshop for senior alumni. We have a continuing education for alumni, and some months ago, over 9 alums came to TAPMI for the Bloomberg session. We're trying to have more and more of those to engage the alumni and welcome back into the campus. We had meets both in Dubai and Singapore, the international meets, great success. In city meets in New Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Mumbai, equally wonderful meets. I was not there for the Mumbai ones because I was in Delhi at the time, but I know that all 4 centers had a fantastic response, and I thank all the alumni for their continued support. This year we launched the alumni portal. The Hyderabad meet was officially launched, and TAPMI Chronicles was also launched, which is the alumni magazine. So very quickly, in terms of alumni activity, a lot of the alumni have expressed sort of support in placements, summer internship. They want part of Bloomberg sessions. We're setting up a TAPMI alumni fund. There's an alumni membership scheme that's about to happen. Live projects. Many alums have said they'd be very happy to work with us in giving live projects to our students. Mentoring students. Again, number of alumni have said they would love to mentor students, which is great, and even sponsorship. We're also part of the Principles for Responsible Management Education on the Harvard Business School mock affiliate network. You know, the Prime Minister was in Davos not long ago, and he had mentioned the names of 38 schools. TAPMI figures in the list of champions. So the idea is to promote sustainability awareness, research and practice within TAPMI's community of stakeholders in support of the SDGs. So UN has, the United Nations has 17 SDGs. So the UN Prime Champions Initiative 1819 talks about research, student engagement, and the Prime Global Forum, and we're hoping to bring the United Nations and all affiliate members into Manipal next year for the conference. So we are an advanced signatory. We do a lot of work with the community as well. We're also part of the Harvard Business School. We're the MSc Affiliate Network member. This is in association with Michael Porter's Institute for Strategy and Competitiveness. This applied research and economic policy that happens. There's a globally developed curriculum which Ishwa Haritas is actually teaching a course, and he works very closely with the Institute of Strategy and Competitiveness on the projects for progress generally that happens. In terms of accreditation, you know that TAPMI has graduated to the second stage, which is the advanced stage to assessment stage. Only 2% of the business schools in 70 countries have the AMBER. We already have a repeat of ACSB. We have reaccredited the ACSB, but we're now going for AMBER this year. In June of this year, the PRT team will visit and evaluate TAPMI, and we're hoping to get AMBER by the end of this year. The idea is to strengthen existing collaboration with partner institutes, universities in 3 critical areas. We're looking at faculty exchange, research collaborations, and also PhD scholar exchange. At the moment, we're working with 4 schools, Emporia State University, Macquarie in Sydney, Institute Dubai, and the ESURAN in France. Recently, we also signed the Indo-France agreement that was signed by Dayashankar Maurya and Vinod Madhavan Ben from TAPMI to represent at the meet recently. So I thought I'll quickly highlight some of the achievements we have had in the year 17-18. I want to wish you the very, very best. Sincere congratulations from all of us to you, and we hope that success will follow your hard work. You've done a great job, and many congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Madhu. Update is TAPMI's annual publication that captures in detail the events and the achievements of the TAPMI family, be they the students or the faculty members or even the staff members. I request Dr. Bhaskar Bhat to release this year's edition of Update. Thank you, sir. I now request Dr. Seena Biju, Chairperson of the Postgraduate Program, to conduct the convocation proceedings. Over to you, Dr. Seena.
Thank you, Rajiv. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Bhaskar Bhat, respected Pro-Chancellor Mahe, Governing Council Member and Trustee of the TAPMI, Dr. H.S. Ballal, Professor Madhuvir Raghavan, Director, TAPMI, esteemed members of the Governing Council, Trust, and the Board of Management Studies, invited guests, parents, my colleagues from TAPMI, students, and the graduating class of 2016-18. It is my honor and privilege as the chairperson of the postgraduate program TAPMI to deliver the diploma presentation at the 32nd annual convocation of TAPMI Management Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 2018 at TAPMI and across 3 programs, postgraduate diploma in management, postgraduate diploma in management healthcare, and postgraduate diploma in management banking and financial services, 466 students have qualified for the award. I present to you 436 students who will be receiving the diploma today. 30 students will be receiving their diploma in absentia. I invite the students of PGDM Healthcare Program to come forward to receive their diploma. May I invite Dr. H.S. Ballal, Governing Council Member and Trustee of TAPMI, to kindly award the diplomas to the graduating students. Sir. Presenting the students of the healthcare program, Anal Arasi, Dr. Anal Arasi, MV, Miss Anusha Madhukar Rao, Dr. Jasleen Suri, Ms. Kalpana Kaushal, Mr. Lakshmi Srinivas Tatavarti, Ms. Mansi Nitin Jilka, Ms. Pavitra Shivakumar, Ms. Purvi Basavaraj, Mr. Pratish Prakash Malya, Dr. Pratyusha Dasari, Ms. Radhika Malhotra, Mr. Suraj Sambashivam, and Mr. Swarnadeep Banerjee. I now call upon the PGDM BKF students to come forward to receive their diplomas. Mr. Aditya Nagesh, Mr. Aditya Prakash Pandey, Mr. Akash Anil Kamath, Mr. Alamuri Venkat Aditya, Mr. Anil Shankar AP, Mr. Anup B, Mr. Apurv Srivastava, Mr. Kartikeya Srivastava, Ms. Nimisha Khattar, Mr. Nishant Arun D'Souza, Mr. Rahul Kumar, Mr. Rohit Krishnamurthy, Mr. Roshan Raghuram, Mr. Sandeep D. Menon, Mr. Tushar Vilas Abhyankar, Mr. Yash M. K. Verma, and Mr. Shubham Gupta. We now have the PGDM students coming forward to receive their diplomas. Ms. Akriti Bhatnagar, Mr. Abhay Nagpal, Mr. Abhijit Rajesh Vyas, Mr. Abhishek Kunal, Mr. Abhinav Saxena, Mr. Abhishek Kunal, Mr. Aditya Madhav Patil, Mr. Akil Prakash, Mr. Alan Sam Baby, Mr. Amandeep Singh Bedwal, Miss Anandita Avasti, Mr. Anmol Singh, Miss Anandi Datta Chaudhary, Mr. Anurag Krishna Vipala, Mr. Arijit Ganguly. Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Dr. H. Shantaram, Governing Council Member and Trustee, to kindly award the diplomas to the graduating students. Mr. Austin Johnson, Mr. Alvin Matthew, Mr. Balaji Venugopal, Mr. Chandan V, Mr. Danwada Gopichand, Ms. Devarati Banerjee, Mr. Deepak Kasnia, Ms. Deepthi Mishra, Ms. Iha Anant, Ms. Iram Maheen, Mr. Gautam P, Mr. Girish C, Mr. Harsh Chaudhary, Mr. Ishan Kekre, Ms. S. Jayalakshmi, Ms. Jovina Abreu, Mr. Kashish Chabra, Ms. Kasturi Kundu, Ms. Lalita Shri Chandana, Ms. Manisha Sharma, Mr. Manu Harish Gurnani, Mr. Mayank Dhamania, Mr. Mrinal Dubey, Mr. Niket Govind K, Mr. Palash Gupta, Ms. Pooja Banerjee, Ms. Paulomi Chatterjee, Ms. Prabha Shah, Mr. Pranav Nagesh Dabke, Ms. Pooja Suryanarayana, Mr. Rahul Rajiv Nayak, Mr. Rohit Dhawal, Ms. Savita Sood, Ms. Shivangi Rakesh Kapoor, Ms. Shivangi Singh, Ms. Shobhita Elizabeth, Ms. Shruti Umar, Mr. Shubho Jyoti Chatterjee, Mr. Siddharth Rasam, Mr. Siddhartha Shekhar Akula, Mr. Siddharth Anand, Mr. Saumen Sarkar, Ms. Saumya Jurani, Mr. Saurabh Dilip Kumar, Ms. Sushtita Dhar, Ms. Shweta Sunil, Ms. Tanya Gupta, Ms. Tanushri Singh, Ms. Tanvi, Mr. Yashash Sriram, Mr. Abhishek Patra, Mr. Aditya Bhatnagar, Ms. Ajita Singh, Mr. Akshay Chaudhary, Mr. Ankit Gupta, Mr. Anmol Lamba, Ms. Anubha Agarwal, Mr. Anup Malik, Mr. Anurag Surya, Mr. Arnav Jain, Ms. Arzu Arora, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Mr. David Chaco Varghese, Mr. Debarchan Parida, Mr. Dinesh Khanna KV, Miss Divya Jain, Mr. Govind N, Miss Gautami Tallapalli, Mr. Guna Dinesh, Mr. Harish Mohan, Mr. Harshal Deepak Kale, Mr. Harshit Singh, Miss Janani S, Miss L. Jayashri, Mr. Joydeep Majumdar, Mr. Karthik Upadhyay, Miss Kashmira Nagar, Mr. Kushal Bhattacharya, Miss Lakshmi Subhadra M, Mr. Mandeep Ganguly, Mr. Mithun M. Naik, Mr. Moinak Banerjee, Miss Maunika Duva, Miss Namita Sekaria, Miss Nikita Gulati, Mr. Piyush Agarwal, Mr. Prabhu Sai Shashank, Mr. Pradyut Killa, Miss Pragya Mehra, Mr. Prasun Purwar, Mr. Puram Shetty Sai Kiran, Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Dr. P.D. Shenoy, Governing Council Member and Trustee, to kindly award the diplomas to the graduating students. Mr. Raghav Singhal, Mr. Ram Pancharya, Ms. Ritobrata Dev, Mr. Saket Jain, Miss Sanhita Taloy, Miss Shruti Gera, Miss Shruti Mohanty, Miss Shubham Sudhir Parihar, Miss Sonal Sinha, Mr. Sumit Anant, Miss Shweta Tanwar, Miss Shweta Bontu, Mr. Tanidhi Krishna Chaitanya, Miss Tanya Singh, Mr. M. Vamshidhar Reddy, Mr. Varun Krishna Gupta, Miss Vidisha Kalidindi, Mr. Vipul Kumar Gupta, Mr. Vimal Vijayan, Miss Jaiti Mukesh Vijayvargi, Mr. Abhay Singh Verma, Mr. Abhishek Vyas, Miss Ayman Khan, Mr. Aman Sharma, Miss Ananya Venkatapullela, Miss Anandita Chakraborty, Mr. Anish Kumar, Mr. Arijit Goswami, Miss Chandni M, Mr. Collins Chaco, Mr. Deepak Sharma, Miss Divya Rawat, Miss Gandhali Sanjay Inamdar, Miss Garima Kalra, Mr. Gaurav Majumdar, Miss Gayatri Shashidharan, Mr. Gunjot Singh Khurana, Mr. Hriday Reddy, Miss Isha Verma, Miss Janani R. Chandran, Miss Kalpisha Khattar, Mr. Kunal Gopal Panjane, Mr. Lakshmana Rao, Miss Lakshmi Milind, Miss Manasa Jalna, Mr. Mayank Sharma, Miss Mona Poddar, Mr. Moparthi Varaprakash Rao, Mr. Navneet Agarwal, Mr. Nidish K, Miss Nidhi Anand, Mr. Nihar J. Desai, Mr. Arvind Kumar Chaturvedi, Mr. Nishant Joshi, Mr. Paramjot, Mr. Paritosh Kumar, Ms. Payal Satyanarayan Sharma, Ms. Paushali Roy, Mr. Prajwal Prakash, Mr. Prithvish Mitesh Kamdar, Mr. Rohan T. M, Mr. Saurabh James Masiha, Mr. Sharon Uman Matthew, Miss Shilpa Ann, Miss Shreya, Miss Smriti Ranjan, Miss Shravani Jaganti, Miss Srinidhi Venturi, Mr. Sriram T. M, Miss Sri Lakshmi Uppuluri, Mr. Suneet Unni, Miss Tanvi Pradeep, Miss Tanvi Shaurya, Miss Tia Mary Bobbin, Mr. Varun Bajaj, Mr. Vikas Rachamalla, Mr. Vishal Shankar, Mr. Yashwant Gummadi, Mr. Yugandhar Nandkishore Ghatke, Miss Crystal Gomes, Mr. Anthony Paul, Mr. Adarsh Kumar, Mr. Akash Somani, Miss Akshita Garg, Mr. Amandeep G.S. Khanuja, Mr. Ankit Kishore, Miss Anubha Sethia, Miss Asmita Bhattacharya, Mr. Atanu Ghosh, Miss Debangana Das, Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Shri D.A. Prasanna, Governing Council Member and Trustee, to kindly award the diplomas to the graduating students. Mr. Deepanjan Sood, Mr. Deepayan Roy Chowdhury, Mr. Deepak Sri Kumar, Miss Disha Luthra, Mr. Harshvardhan Seth, Mr. Kamil Muhammad, Mr. Kameshwara Rao Polla, Miss Kamini Ramesh, Mr. Kushal Duggar, Miss Mahima Negi, Mr. Matthew Churapura Anthony, Mevila Soni Krasta, Mr. Mohan Annappa Desai, Mr. Nikhilesh Sundaresan, Miss Nimisha Nagarkoti, Mr. Nishant Bhansali, Mr. Pawan Kumar, Miss Pavitra S, Miss Pradipti Inapakurti, Mr. Pratik Gupta, Mr. Prince Arora, Miss Purvi Khandelwal, Mr. Pushkar Moni, Mr. Raghavan Ramamurthy, Mr. Rajesh Kumar GVS, Mr. Rishabh Gandhi, Mr. Ritesh Vardhan, Mr. Sandeep R. Krishnan, Mr. Sanket Amod Joshi, Mr. Sarthak Bhawwala, Miss Sharayu Ramesh Mankar, Miss Shilpa Satyan Nair, Miss Shinjini Das Gupta, Mr. Shirshak Mohanty, Mr. Shivam Sharma, Miss Shreya Verma, Miss Shamita Raghunathan, Mr. Siddhant Mukesh Chawla, Mr. Siddharth Shubhankar, Mr. Sonak Das Gupta, Mr. Sanpreet Singh, Mr. Utsav Kumar Shailesh Kumar Desai, Mr. Vipin Kataria, Mr. Vivek Kumar, Miss Vamika Jain, Mr. Sudarshan S, Mr. Abhay Pandey, Mr. Abhishek Sunil Bafna, Miss Aratrika Paul, Mr. Aravind Balakrishnan, Miss Archana Shashikumar Nair, Mr. Arvind Prakash, Mr. Chandramouli, Miss Divya Ramesh, Mr. Gaurav Ashok, Mr. George Varki, Mr. Gyanasagar Ankaraboina, Mr. Harsh Katare, Mr. Himanshu Jha, Ms. Kanishka Yelamanchi, Mr. Kashyap Deshikan, Ms. Kavleen Kaur Bakshi, Mr. Krishna V.S., Mr. Kshitij Nayak, Mr. Narsimha Satyakiran, Mr. Naresh Om Prakash Heda, Ms. Neetu C, Mr. Nikhil Rajiv, Ms. Nikita Agarwal, Mr. Ninad Pradeep Bishe, Mr. Nipesh Agrawal, Mr. Nitin Haswani, Ms. Parul Agarwal, Mr. Parth Paresh Patel, Mr. Prakhar Kumar Saxena, Mr. Prateek Narwal, Ms. Priyanka Gupta, Mr. Rohan Ratna, Ms. Rupa Kumari, Mr. Sachin Bharadwaj, Ms. Sakshi Bhalla, Mr. Saurav Sarkar, Mr. Senthil Vijayan Perumal, Mr. Srinivas Kini, Ms. Sumana Rao DR, Ms. Tuhina Kumar, Ms. Vandana Singh, Mr. Vinay Sharma, Mr. Vineet Narwal, Thank you very much, sir. May I now invite Shri Ramesh Adige, Governing Council member, to kindly award the diplomas to the graduating students. Mr. Vishal B. Nair, Mr. Vishnu Pallat, Mr. Vishnu Kumar, Mr. Yash Ashok Chopra, Mr. Sanket Manishbhai Mod, Mr. Kaustav Das, Mr. Abhyudaya Goyal, Ms. Shivani Ahuja, Mr. Abhay Shamsundar Senoy, Ms. Abhilasha Mathur, Mr. Abhishek Quatra, Ms. Aishwarya Hariharan, Mr. Anant Kumar Agarwal, Mr. Ananya Brata Bhattacharya, Ms. Ankita Jain, Ms. Anu Mathur, Mr. Anurag Singh, Ms. Aparna K.I., Mr. Aryan Bhatnagar, Ms. Athira G. Nair, Mr. Ayush Chawla, Ms. Bhargavi, Mr. Deepak Jaiswal, Ms. Dharmi Arvind, Mr. Gaurav Anand, Mr. Harsh Kumar, Mr. Harsh Singla, Mr. Himanshu Arora, Mr. Himanshu Nityanand, Ms. Kiranjeet Kaur, Mr. Kshitij Parag, Mr. Kumar Adhyan, Ms. Lakshmi Meghna, Mr. L. R. Manoj, Ms. Maya Nambiar, Mr. Mithun Mamen, Ms. Naseem Banu, Mr. Nikhil Ranjan, Mr. N. V. Vijayafani Kumar, Mr. Pallav Patil, Ms. Pavitra G, Ms. Payal Yogesh Mehta, Ms. Payal Biswas, Mr. Philip Franklin, Mr. Prakhar Verma, Mr. Praveen Gade, Ms. Rajeshwari Shaw, Ms. Ratnali Tripathi, Ms. Richa Sharma, Mr. Sabrish J.C., Mr. Sachin S. Pillai, Mr. Sagar Bora, Mr. Sahitya Kumar Shi, Mr. Sajid V, Ms. Sanchita Gupta, Ms. Sanjana Datta, Mr. Saptarishi Chakrabarti, Mr. Saurabh Kumar Acharya, Mr. Shivam Agnihotri, Mr. Sauvik Banerjee, Mr. Subhanjan Ghosh, Mr. Sujay Sri Kumar, Ms. Supriya Chandarkar, Mr. S. Venkatanaga Akhilesh, Ms. Swati Saxena, Ms. Shyamala Priya M.V.S., Ms. Tanushri Ketan, Ms. Twinkle Garg, Mr. Umang Rajgaria, Mr. Vineet Pandey, Mr. Vishwanathan Srinivasan, Ms. Vrishali Sunil Pavaskar, Mr. Sanket Purushottam, Mr. Abhishek Chatterjee, Mr. Akash Shaw, Ms. Ashna Akhtar, Mr. Abhay Singh, Mr. Abraham Matthew, Ms. Akanksha Mund, Mr. Akash Deep Sanyal, Mr. Akhil P.K., Mr. Amit Patnaik, Mr. Anirban Banerjee, Ms. Anjana Vishwanath Warrior, Mr. Anshul Negi, Mr. Anuprash Bakul Barua, Ms. Archana A. Kulkarni, Ms. Arya K.J., Mr. Bharani Kumar Gauri Shankaran, Ms. Chahat Sodhi, Mr. Charudat Sehgal, Ms. Deepika S., Ms. Kritika Roy, Ms. Liz Tom, Mr. Manas Ranjan, Mr. Manikandan Parthasarthi, Mr. Manish Tiwari, Ms. Manisha Gorepati, Ms. Meghal Jayendra Gandhi, Mr. Naveen Suhag, Ms. Pallavi Roy, Mr. Pradhumat Vimal Shah, Mr. Pratyush Prasad, Mr. Prithvi Raj, Ms. Priyanka Mahesh, Mr. Rahul Nair, Mr. Ratan George Zakaria, Mr. Rishi Om Prakash Dargad, Mr. San Isaac George, Ms. Sahana S.N., Mr. Saket Narayan, Ms. Shipra Saurabhi, Ms. Shraddha Gulati, Mr. Shubham Sanjay Nagori, Mr. Shaurya Sanigrahi, Mr. Shubhramalya Bhandari, Ms. Trina Mitra, Mr. Uday Narsimha Pullela, Mr. Venkat Shivakumar Penugonda, Mr. Vikram Thakur, Ms. Vishakha Shiva Nayanar, and Jay Bhalla. Thank you very much, sir. I now request Professor Madhuvira Raghavan, Director, TAPMI, to kindly administer the professional oath to the graduating class of 2016-18. The graduating students, please rise.
Congratulations, everybody. Right hand up, please. I solemnly pledge that as a recipient of the Postgraduate Diploma in Management of TAPMI Management Institute, I shall practice my profession with conscience and dignity, uphold the ethical and moral values that govern the processes of good management, pursue excellence in management, strive to be a useful member of society by active participation in the socio-economic development of our country and humanity. Many congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Madhu. I request Professor Simon George, Dean Academics, to have the register of the graduating students endorsed by our Pro-Chancellor, Dr. H.S. Ballal. Thank you, sir. Hearty congratulations, batch of 2016. May God's choicest blessings be upon you. Thank you.